Hello and welcome back to Eliza Priddle Equestrian. Thank you for persisting into the second video. What I'd like to talk to you about today is there's a really strong belief out there from a lot of professional trainers that people shouldn't be handling foals unless they are professionally trained. And while I agree to that to an extent, I think it's a mightier than thou idea that we need to restrict who handles their foals, because the reality of it is people are going to do it anyway. So my belief system tells me that if we're going to do it anyway, we may as well just put the information out there for people to learn from and do the best that they possibly can. We've all handled foals that we probably shouldn't have. I know I've done things with horses that in hindsight were not ideal, but I learned from it and I used that information to move forward, and now I'm sharing with you all the mistakes that I learnt and everything that I have experienced in the last 20 years working with horses, and specifically in the last probably 10 years when I've had a lot to do with foals. So I want to share that information so people can do a better job of it. It's not fair to say people shouldn't handle their foals, because in my experience, a lot of people who don't handle their foals early because they're fearful of doing the wrong thing end up with foals that are really difficult to catch, and then they have to get somebody in like me and spend a lot of money, a lot of time and a lot of stress on the foal because they have a lot of fear already created around humans. And that's through not handling. Naturally, horses are fearful animals. They are not designed to be around predators. We have forward-facing, piercing eyes, and it's innate in a foal to be fearful of that. If it's not their mum, they should be fearful of it. So they naturally grow up with a tendency to stay away from us, and as they get older, that tendency gets really strong, and that's a learned behaviour that gets really strong, and we then find it very, very difficult. And of course, the bigger they are, the faster they are, and the harder they are to do anything with. So my idea behind this series is to put the information out there for people to learn from, and I wanted to take the opportunity to do it as a fundraiser, because there are people, as I've said earlier, from Last Chance Corral who are saving foals by the hundreds and doing a fantastic job rehoming them. So I wanted to take the opportunity to help them out in a process that is going to help the world be better with horses, and it's going to help our horses be happier horses. So a really cool thing about this training that I'm giving you, the first 5 days of a horse's life, is literally once this first 5 days is done, and if it's done well, then the horse is literally trained for life. They never forget this. Now, you can untrain them, but if you did this first 5 days and then allowed a horse to grow for the next 12 months and did nothing, put no ropes on it, did no training with it, it won't forget. It may get a little rusty and a little less responsive, but it will never forget, and it'll only take moments for that horse to remember what was happening with it initially. So, of course, because of the training, the horses become extremely easy to handle and extremely easy to do anything with. So it's very unlikely that you're not going to handle the foal from for the next 12 months. But if the case was that you're breeding, 10 or 20 foals and putting them out to pasture with their mares, then this is the perfect opportunity to get that training in, get rid of the fear before they go out to pasture, and then you've got a much, much easier job when you bring them in as yearlings. So I'm going to show you from scratch. The first time we handle a foal, if possible, is only hours after it's born, not moments after it's born, because I'm a big believer in allowing the foal to bond with its mum. I don't want to be the first port of call for the foal. I need the mum to be, because I want him to be a horse, and I want him or her to go to the mare before it comes to me. I need her to be its first response. So I want the mare to bond with the foal before I touch the foal. But before the foal gets up and starts moving around, I want to have a few things in place that stops the horse reacting negatively to my touch. And horses will naturally, as you'll see we're assuming with this foal, we don't know yet because it's not here yet, but we're assuming, and it's been the case with every other foal, that when we go to touch a newborn foal, they're very reactive. They sort of swish around and try and get whatever that is off them. and there's a process we go through to fix that, so that as the foal then in the next hours and days is touched, it's not reactive at all. In fact, it finds the touch quite comforting. So from the moment dot, now of course foals can be born in the middle of the night, we can miss the foaling. There's all sorts of reasons that we miss the first few hours of the foal's life, and if you do, don't panic, because there are processes in place that you can still do this. The hardest thing that's going to stop you getting this training on board is if you've got a much older foal and a very, very difficult to handle mare, because if you can't get near the mare, you've got bucklies of getting training on the foal. So my first important note would be that you've got a handleable mare that you know is safe and that you trust. And at all times, if you have any doubt, that you hold to the mare and hold her with you. So in the training process, you will see all of that. And of course, we're waiting for the foal to be born. And I'm going to do all the videoing as I'm teaching the foal. There is not going to be any setup. I'm not going to do things beforehand and then show you how it works perfectly. I'm going to show you from scratch how it happens. And so you'll see all the things that can go wrong as well. Assuming, of course, things will go wrong. We'll make mistakes. Things happen in nature that we can't predict, so we have to deal with it. So it will all be live. You'll see it, with all its mistakes, and all the bloopers will be included in the video. So I'd like to introduce now the mare and stallion that we are desperately waiting for this foal to be born, so we can see what it is. The mare is Freya, and she's a Percheron mare. And she was bought from the doggers, and she was very difficult to begin with. And Ainsley, who owns the mare, has spent a lot of time with her. We had to do a fairly big training session fairly early on. She was quite difficult to catch and quite difficult to handle, to do anything with. But 11 months has passed, and Ainsley's done a fantastic job. And the mare is now beautiful to handle. She's sometimes temperamental, absolutely. She still has some issues from her past. But the majority of the time, she's fantastic. The stallion is a full, beautiful, purebred Clydesdale, and this is him here. And we are very unsure, but guessing crazily as to what colour the foal is going to be. And my guess is lots of bling, lots of white. I imagine we're going to have a nice big white blaze and 4 white socks, and hopefully a nice big belly patch of splash, a bit like Dad. I'm guessing bay, but we could end up with anything, absolutely anything. We could end up with roan, we could end up with, black, all sorts of things. So we are unsure of the parents' breeding, so we don't know any colour history or genes, so we're guessing. So put your best guess forward, and comment below on the Facebook side if you've got a guess about what colour the foal, and of course what sex the foal is going to be. So again, I want you to thank you for joining me. This is going to be a very exciting journey. I'm a little nervous presenting everything live because things do go wrong. And of course, it's my own ideas about how to train a foal, and sometimes we learn from our mistakes. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple of those that you guys can learn from along with me. So thank you for joining us. We will be talking in the next video about the great job that the guys from Last Chance Corral do with their foals, and why I really, really believe in supporting a fabulous cause. And thank you so much for coming along on the journey. We will see you in the next video. I'm hoping I'm not too bleary-eyed. We are expecting the foal any day now. So I'm hoping I can stay awake long enough to get our next video out. So thanks, guys. We will see you soon. Bye.